Hello everybody and welcome back to Tree of Tranquility. I played about 2 days off camera, which isn't a lot, but I got a couple of things accomplished. The first of which is that I sort of reorganized my rucksack so that I have a lot of room. For the time being, all I'm really going to worry about carrying is my hammer, my axe, and my watering can on a day-to-day basis. So I've put the hoe and the fishing rod away. And when I have the free space, I will replant the potatoes and the turnips, but for now I'm going to store them. And as you can see, I also have some ore that I can get refined later on in order to make bars to upgrade my equipment. So let's go ahead and go outside. It's a beautiful sunny day. And Hamilton has come to visit. Wow, Nick, you've been doing a great job. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Let's go to my house. There used to be a great tree on this island and beautiful rainbows in the sky. The great tree on the island died, and now there's no rainbows in the sky. The beautiful guardian living in the tree was the harvest goddess, and she was so kind. Saddened by the loss of the great tree, she still cries above the clouds. The sky and the land are weeping, looking for a rainbow. It's a sad poem, right? There's a quilt associated with this poem. I just can't find it. Do you have any questions? So this is sort of the plot dump, the first little bit of plot dump that we're going to get from Hamilton. So let's just go through and ask him all of the questions, starting with the great tree. There used to be a great tree on this island. The tree was as old as the island. The people called it the mother tree. However, it died many years ago. Who is the guardian? If the harvest goddess who is protecting the island is exactly as she's described in the poem, she must be stuck and unable to come back to the island. Wherever she's trapped, it must be very lonely. But I think she was able to reach you in those strange dreams you had. And finally, we can ask about the quilt. There's an old quilt that tells a legend of the harvest goddess. I'm sure there are clues to save the harvest goddess on it. After you've done a bit more work, we should talk again. I'll do my best to find that quilt. Anyway, good luck with your work. So to advance further on in the story, we sort of just have to wait for Hamilton's next call. In the meantime, let's go ahead and water our crops. You can see that our potatoes and our turnips are starting to come in a little bit. They should be able to be harvested in the next couple of days. I also used my axe to chop down that huge tree that was right in front of the house, and all that's left is a stump. When I was cutting down the tree, I think I counted exactly 14 swings to chop it down, and it took almost a full bar of stamina, which is brutal, because we need to start gathering wood and stone, so it's going to be quite a time-consuming process to do that. And I really want to try and find Myra, because we're going to need her soon. She is the one that works at the other counter at Ramsey's. We saw her house, which is in this district, but we haven't had a chance to really bump into her yet. Usually she's hanging around the church, so I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't run into her yet. Oh, hello, you're new here, aren't you? I'm Myra. I was away from the island for a while, but now I'm back. So you're Nick, it's nice to meet you. I'm living at the blacksmith's. Come visit us if you're interested in metalwork. See you later! So it looks like she's actually just visiting the cemetery, so I suppose it's a little bit left of the church in order to bump into her. So now we'll be able to find her at the blacksmith's working along with Ramsey, and that's our next stop. I figured it would probably be a good time just to sort of go through the mining tutorial. And from what I read on the sign, Ramsey's is closed on Mondays. So this is a really great way to do this and to just get it out of the way. I figured explaining it myself would probably be a little bit more long and drawn out rather than just going and talking to him. Because I read this mining tutorial and it's pretty short, sweet, and to the point. So if we speak to him and we get a mining explanation, he's basically going to tell us everything that we need to do. So the basics. Mine for wonderfuls and ores by smashing rocks and minerals with the hammer. Watch out for cracks in the floor. If you step on a crack, you'll hit a pitfall or a steam geyser. Pitfalls drop you down deeper into the mine and take your stamina, and steam geysers blast you back up to a higher level. And it is completely random. Let's talk to him next about refining. Bring the wonderfuls and ores that you mine to Myra. She'll refine them into metals and gems that you can use to upgrade tools and make accessories. And then finally, he's going to give us a quick tutorial about the gases that could be found in the mines. And once again, these are completely random, and there's a nice little chart there of what all of the gases do. Different colors of gases have different effects, some positive, some negative, and that sort of makes mining a little bit more interesting. And now we could talk to Myra. She has an accessory making business, so we can make jewelry, and you can see the material list that is required on the bottom there as you scroll through each item. And jewelry doesn't really serve much of a purpose. I think you could probably sell them. I'm not sure if you would get a huge profit or not, because you do have to pay to make the jewelry, so I'm not sure what the profit is there. But you can make brooches, you can make rings, and you can make pendants with all sorts of different materials. And she also refines stuff for you. So if you come to her and you have ores in your inventory, she'll refine them all at once free of charge. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of mining, shall we? I could talk about a couple of other things that the mining tutorial Ramsey gave us didn't quite cover. So the mine in this game, obviously the point is to head down. You want to get as far down as possible. You're going to find random mushrooms strewn about that you can pick up. The mushrooms will restore your fatigue and your stamina as you move on, so you can eat these as you go on, and you can keep going further and further. And obviously the toasters are poisonous and you do not want to eat them. However, they are good to gather because you can ship them for additional money. You can hit rocks and stuff will or will not come out at random. You just kind of have to hit around and see. And usually you can see here that the stairs going down is not obvious. It's not revealed to us, and we have to poke around and find it. And generally speaking, if you're looking for an entrance going down, what you're going to want to do is hit a lone rock. So you can see this one here isn't surrounded by anything else. And if we hit that, that's going to reveal the next floor down. So it's unfortunate and it's kind of frustrating because it's completely randomized. You can see there that we've actually picked up a shining piece of iron ore, which is wonderful. We can take that to Myra, get that refined into an iron bar, and we'll be able to make that into a tool upgrade. And as you can see here, we've now picked up a non-sparkling piece of iron ore. So if I open up my inventory, you can see that they have different icons, but they have the same description, and this is sort of deceptive because it gives you the impression that you can take both of these things to Myra and get iron ore out of it, but that is in fact not true. In order to get iron, or to get any sort of metal, in order to get any kind of gem, what have you, the item has to be sparkling. If you bring a non-sparkling piece of metal or jewel to Myra, it turns into glass, and it is essentially useless. So generally speaking, I don't waste my inventory space picking up non-sparkly items, unless of course I've just not picked up anything and I want some sort of profit. So I've been using my hammer quite a bit the last couple of days, and I have now leveled up the tool, which is great because not only can I charge it up, but it's also going to use less energy from here on out, which is great. You can see that we're getting pretty low on stamina here. So let's just go up a level, and there's one more thing that I think I sort of want to cover before we go back up to the surface, and that is the pitfall thing. So these are the cracks in the floor that was mentioned in the tutorial by Ramsey, and if you step on it, you're going to randomly go down a couple of floors, or you're going to go up a couple of floors. There's no telling which crack is going to send you in which direction, and the lower down you go, the more of a possibility that you're going to be sent upwards, which can be really frustrating because it can impede the progress that you've made. I'm also going to eat a mushroom here just as an example. If I eat this, I'll get a little bit of stamina. And when you see these moles, you can whack them with your hammer and they will give you a puntata root. I can't see him there. I don't want to hit the wall accidentally. I don't have a lot of stamina here. So we'll wait for him to come back. We'll whack him with our hammer and we will get a root. You can either ship this for money or you can eat it to recover your stamina. And when you're done, you can quickly use one of the staircases going up to return to the exit. Colored rocks will sometimes give you gems, but regular rocks with no coloring or no gems on them will also give you gems. It's completely randomized. So now that we have these two pieces of ore in my inventory, we can go to Myra and we can choose the refining option. And you can see here that the iron ore that was non-sparkling turns into a scrap piece of iron, but the sparkling piece turns into a usable piece of iron. So once again, scrap metal or glass is completely useless, and this is the good stuff. Whenever you see these bars of whatever color, whether it be iron, copper, silver, or gold, that's the stuff you want to keep in order to upgrade your tools. Anything else you can sell. So we're not going to get very much for that scrap, but we could sell it. And I need $1,000 before I'm able to upgrade anything, and so I'm gonna have to hold on to that iron for now and probably just put it in my shipping box, or my toolbox rather, for the time being at my house, just to keep it in storage so I don't accidentally ship it and get rid of it. So for now, because I'm trying to focus on profits as much as I can, I'm going to sell everything that I found today. And normally what I would do at this point, it's still very early in the day, it's kind of early in the afternoon, I would go over to the spring, regain my energy, and then find something else to do for the other half of the day, whether it be more mining, whether it be gathering stone, or whether it be fishing. And as you can see, obviously I've made a little bit of profit as well. If I scroll through my menus, you can see that in total so far, I've made about $650, and that's just by mushrooms that I found in the mines, by herbs I found in the forest. I found a couple of pieces of seaweed on the beach that I can sell. That's pretty much all just from salvaging, mostly. I haven't even grown any of my crops yet, so we're not even really getting into the real money at this point. And then this shortcut that leads you back to this area pretty much plops you right in front of the road that's going to take you to the springs. So this is a really nice area to zone into because you can pretty much make a straight beeline right to the hot spring. So we'll rest up, and then I'll probably go back to my house and maybe try and destroy that rock that's in my field. I'll pick up that material stone, and then I'll pretty much just be calling it quits. Unfortunately, because it takes so long to get everywhere, with all the shortcuts being blocked off and not having any sort of fast travel, the first little bit of the game, you feel like you're not making a lot of progress. You don't have a lot of time in a day because so much of your day is spent just traveling around. But as time goes on, obviously that's going to improve. We're going to unlock more, we're going to become more efficient with our tools, and so on and so forth. So right now I have two major goals in mind. The first, believe it or not, in order to advance on with the story, is to upgrade your house, and in order to do that you have to chop down trees and break big boulders with your hammer. So that's going to be a priority for me. I'm going to do that sort of with any sort of spare time and spare stamina that I have until I have enough. I'll also need the money in order to do that, so I'll need to continue to grow some crops, forage, mine, do whatever it is that I need to do to make some money. And then secondly, of course, I really want to get my tools upgraded, just because they are so incredibly hard to use and they drain so much of my stamina. So I'm going to be spending most of my time for this first little bit of the game at the mine district, either in Praline Forest or mining in and of itself. Right now we're on a really fast track to getting some of our tools upgraded because we actually have 2 pieces of iron once I refine this iron ore, and that will allow us to work efficiently with whatever tool it is that I upgrade, which is probably going to be the hammer and the watering can to start out with. So once again, I will probably just play a little bit on my own to get things rolling and update you guys when I find it time necessary to upgrade. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.